Welcome back, everybody. We're back to learning about the characteristics of living things. We're down to the last two characteristics that all living things have or do. Last video, we discovered all living things respond to stimuli. This video is going to go over the last two characteristics of living things. All right, so at this point, you should know that all living things are organized, all living things grow and develop, all living things reproduce, and all living things respond to stimuli. The next characteristic we're going to be learning about is a little difficult to understand, and it is called homeostasis. And then lastly, we'll learn about using energy. All right, so homeostasis. Cells and organisms need things just right in order to stay alive. We call this homeostasis. They need to keep an internal temperature around 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. And you can see in this picture here, it's showing you that whether it's cold out or hot out, we still have to maintain that temperature inside the body. The body and cells also need a specific amount of water, glucose or sugar, sodium or salt, and nutrients in the body. So when you think about it, if you get thirsty, you get more water, right? And that's probably because your body needs more water inside. All right, so why is homeostasis so important? Well, the thing is, cells, which are the building block, remember we learned about that in organization, cells are what make up all living things. They're the smallest thing that keep us alive. So they need certain conditions in order to do their job correctly. If they cannot do their job correctly, then the organism might get sick or die. So that's why it's so important. All right, so let's take a look at this. When you're outside, this is just an example. I'm going to use temperature also for the example. Again, we said that we need nutrients and we need certain amounts of water and we need certain amounts of sugar. But I think when we're explaining homeostasis, temperature is just a little bit easier to understand. So when your outside environment becomes too hot or too cold, your body responds by either sweating or shivering or changing the flow of blood inside the body. And we do that in order to maintain that inside temperature of 98.6. Remember, that's so important. So is your body going to be at exactly 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit? No, it's not going to be exactly 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit necessarily, but it's always going to be right around that temperature. All right, so using the example of when it's really cold outside for homeostasis, what happens is the hypothalamus in the brain, so it's a little part inside the brain, the hypothalamus is told that your body temperature has dropped. When it's told that your body temperature has dropped, it sends a warning to other parts of the body. And then what happens is the muscles contract and they start shivering so that you can produce heat. The body hairs also stand up so that they can try to keep the heat in. And then lastly, the blood vessels constrict or tighten in order to reduce or decrease blood flow to the skin. And that helps to stop heat from being lost from the body. So all of those things happen in order to try and get that inside temperature back to or as close to 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit as possible. Once all those things happen and that body temperature gets back where it needs to be, then the temperature in the body goes back up. The hypothalamus turns off the warning because it doesn't need the body to do all those things anymore. I'm also going to play for you a short video. It kind of compares homeostasis to hot chocolate. I hope this helps you to understand homeostasis a little bit better.
Homeostasis. Ever see your mom make you hot chocolate? Have you noticed what she does when she accidentally drops a little extra chocolate syrup? She adds a little extra milk. Do you know why she does that? Because too much or too little of an ingredient can ruin your hot chocolate. Just like that, too much or too little of something can disrupt the processes in our body. The human body requires a certain amount of water, glucose, salts, etc. Anything beyond the required level is dangerous to our body. In some cases, it can be fatal. Just like your mom who fixed your hot chocolate, a mechanism called homeostasis makes sure everything inside our body stays at the normal rate. If there is too much of something, our body gets rid of it. If there is too little of something, our body will produce it.
All right, so I hope that hot chocolate analysis helped you to understand homeostasis a little bit better. So basically, it's just maintaining those certain levels inside the body so that the body can function correctly. All right, so moving on to our last characteristic of living things. So all living things, no matter what, we all need energy. So we need to use energy in order to do everything that we do. All right, so you need energy when you're reading a book, something as simple as that. We already know, I'm sure, that everybody uses energy when we run. Now, something that you probably don't think of using energy is when we actually sleep. So you even use energy when you sleep. So why are you using energy when you sleep? Because your brain still needs to tell your heart to beat. You still need to breathe, and your mind is actually still working. So it's just working a little bit less. So you're using less energy when you sleep, but you still need to use energy. All right. Now, where does that energy come from? Hopefully, you guys already know this answer. Hopefully, you've been learning this all through elementary school and up through 7th grade. So, ultimately, all living things get energy from the sun. Okay. Why is that? Because the energy is given from the sun to the plants. The plants then get eaten by the grasshopper. So then the grasshopper is getting energy from the plant that it just ate. The mouse is getting energy from the grasshopper it just ate, and so forth and so on. So we get energy by either plants make their own food or eating food. So all energy does start with the sun, and then we get our energy as we eat the things or make our own energy. Okay? So we will talk more about this later on in the year, but just to understand that energy primarily comes from the sun. But in order to get that energy into our bodies, we need to eat, or in the case of plants, make our own food. All right. So by now, you should know all of these things. So you should know that all living things are organized, all living things grow and develop, all living things reproduce, all living things respond to stimuli, all living things have homeostasis, and all living things use energy. I hope you enjoyed the video on the last two characteristics of all living things. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a great one. Bye.